12 kilometers beneath your feet, the earth is screaming, and we were never meant to hear it. Imagine a needle-thin shaft plunging through the crust of our world, deeper than the dark trenches of the Pacific, into a realm where the laws of physics begin to melt. You are standing on the edge of the Kola super-deep borehole, a rusted metal cap bolted to the frozen tundra of the Russian Arctic. Beneath that cap lies a hole so deep it makes the grandest canyons look like shallow scratches. For 2 decades, Soviet scientists clawed at the stone, desperate to touch the secrets of the mantle, unaware that some doors are closed for a reason. They wanted to see the foundations of the world, but they might have only succeeded in waking what sleeps beneath them. The air in the Zapolyarny region is a cold that bites through bone, a silent white wasteland where the wind howls like a wounded animal. You can almost smell the ozone and the heavy scent of industrial grease hanging over the rig, a metallic tang that lingers on the tongue. As the drill bit ground its way down, centimeter by agonizing centimeter, the pressure became a physical weight. The temperature didn't just rise, it defied every calculation, climbing to a sweltering 180 degrees Celsius. The rock wasn't solid anymore. It behaved like plastic, oozing and shifting as if the planet itself was trying to swallow the intrusion. It was as if the Earth was bleeding heat, pushing back against the intruders with a feverish intensity that felt more like a warning than a geological fact. But the most unsettling discovery wasn't the heat. It was the ghosts of the past. At 7 kilometers deep, where the pressure should have crushed any sign of life into dust, the scientists found something impossible. They pulled up core samples containing the microscopic remains of ancient plankton, preserved in the dark for 2 billion years. You have to ask yourself how life, even the smallest spark of it, ended up so deep within the crushing weight of the subterranean world. These weren't just fossils, they were biological anomalies that shouldn't exist in the belly of a furnace. It was as if the deeper they went, the more the line between the world of the living and the world of the ancient dead began to dissolve. Then, the whispers began to circulate, moving through the barracks like a slow-acting poison. They say the crew lowered heat-resistant microphones into the abyss, hoping to capture the tectonic shifts of the shifting plates. What they heard wasn't the grinding of stone or the hiss of subterranean gas. They heard a low, rhythmic thrumming that slowly dissolved into the sound of thousands of human voices, wailing in a collective, unending agony. It sounded like a choir of the damned, a sonic tapestry of terror rising from a depth where life should be impossible. The recording, though widely dismissed as a hoax, carries a frequency that triggers a primal, lizard brain fear. You listen to the static, and for a moment the screaming feels like it is vibrating in your own teeth. The project didn't just end, it collapsed into a frantic retreat. While the official reports cite a lack of funding and the collapse of the Soviet Union, the locals tell a different story. They speak of a sudden, unexplained panic that gripped the workers, a feeling of being watched by something that had no eyes. The massive rig was dismantled with a speed that suggested they were trying to hide a crime rather than close a laboratory. They left behind a skeletal ruin of rusted steel and shattered glass, a tombstone for an ambition that went too far. The site today is a graveyard of machinery, haunted by the memory of a drill bit that touched something it couldn't understand. You look at that rusted, unassuming metal plate today, and you have to wonder what truly stopped the drill bit in its tracks. Was it really just the heat? Or did the scientists realize they had punctured the ceiling of a place that was never meant to be illuminated? Even now, if you stand in the ruins of the research station, the air feels different, thicker, as if the ground itself is holding its breath. Locals claim that on the quietest nights, if you press your ear to the cold gray rock, you can feel a faint, rhythmic vibration deep in the bedrock. The earth is a living thing, and we spent 20 years stabbing at its heart. Perhaps, in the darkness of the Kola Peninsula, the hole wasn't just a shaft into the stone, but a throat that is still waiting to swallow the next person who listens too closely.